This is the Dime with Josh and Kwab presented by PrizePicks. Our prediction for the NBA Finals, Knicks versus Spurs. Kwab, I think we're in for a classic. I do. And it's not because I'm a Knicks fan. I
It's not.
genuinely think this is an exciting matchup. I think this is a great matchup. Personally.
Of course you say that. Of course you say
You
personally.
don't think so?
I think so too.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna be playing devil's advocate
Don't play
throughout this.
devil's advocate. I want
It's
to hear.
fine.
I want to hear exactly what you hear. This is going to be a fantastic NBA final. Matter of fact, give it up for both teams.
For both teams for making
Clap
the
even
finals.
if you're driving.
Please not clap if you're driving. The Dime is not responsible for any injuries occurred while driving. Disclaimer. You can honk if you're driving in San Antonio. Do that, but no clap
Honk
if
if
you're
you're
driving.
driving. Honk if you're from San Antonio. Clap if you're from New York.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. Kwab and I, we typically break this down. Knicks win if, Spurs win if, X-Factors, all that good stuff. We won't change it up here. I assume the Knicks are underdogs. I haven't looked at the lines, but I assume the Knicks are going to be underdogs. They had the Spurs had a better regular season record. They have home court advantage. I think the general consensus is that the Spurs are a little bit of a better team, despite the fact that the Knicks have been completely insane the past 11 games.
Yep.
Do you think the Knicks are the underdogs? So let's start with them. Kwab, the Knicks win this series if blank.
I mean, the Knicks win this series if they keep playing that unselfish brand of basketball they've been playing throughout the playoffs, moving the ball, sometimes playing through Cat at the top of the key, defensively, like communicating, being in the right spots. But we've seen multiple games where they have blown out teams by like 30 or 40 or whatever it was. But you were getting contributions from not just Jalen Brunson. It was Cat. It was Mikal Bridges. It was Hart or OG. So it was like when you're playing that on selfish brand of basketball, everybody's touching the ball, everybody's moving, playing off the ball. It looks great, and you get these type of results. So I think they have a chance of winning this series if they keep playing this brand of basketball. Okay, so in your opinion, the Knicks win this series if?
Got a laundry list of things, man.
Oh,
Here
of
we
course.
go. I think the length of the perimeter defenders, such as OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and even Josh Hart at times, they have to be able to bother Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper. To me, obviously, Wemby's the guy you have to stop here. Wemby's their best player. But I think what makes this Spurs team go is their guards. I think De'Aaron Fox being able to control the basketball, not turn the ball over and create shots for themselves is huge. I think Stephon Castle getting downhill and getting into the paint and scoring and distributing is huge for the Spurs. Dylan Harper can get himself going at any point in this series. I watched a few of the games back, and you see OG and Anunoby pretty much bothering both Wemby, but also Stephon Castle. I like the matchup with OG and Anunoby on Stephon Castle. I don't know how Mike Brown goes to start. You saw Isaiah Hartenstein pretty much give Victor Wembanyama some issues with his height, so I wonder if they're going to stick Karl-Anthony Towns on Wemby. I don't know. Cat is prone to get into foul trouble, so I don't know if Mike Brown really wants to risk that. But I do think if you can get a good series from Karl-Anthony Towns guarding Victor Wembanyama, bothering with his size and not getting into foul trouble, you can get OG Anunoby on a Steph Castle. You can kind of take him out of the game. And I'm very comfortable with the Mikal Bridges on Dylan Harper. I'm very comfortable with Mikal Bridges on De'Aaron Fox. I'm comfortable with Josh Hart on either of those two as well. I'm not saying that they will shut them down, but I do think the length will bother them. I think they're quick enough to stay in front of them. And I do think it would limit the paint touches from the San Antonio Spurs, which means it would limit the open threes that they get. So you would not shut down, but you would also take away Champagne at times. You would take away Devin Vassell at times. To me, that's the number one. How is the length of the perimeter defenders from the Knicks going to be able to hold up against the Spurs guards? On the opposite side of the basketball, I don't know how the Spurs are going to guard the Knicks, but you see a lot of teams put their center on Josh Hart to start the game. If Josh is shooting the three comfortably like he did in Game 2 against the Cavs and he's hitting the three, that pretty much takes that away. And then all of a sudden, to me, I think the Spurs have a difficult time guarding the Knicks, especially if Cat's running some offense at the top of the key. You can bring Wemby off of Josh Hart, have him in the paint, and that disrupts everything the Knicks have going with their cuts because they're just basically cutting right into Victor Wembanyama. But if Josh Hart's seeing that three and you have to get out on him and then you have to switch Wemby into somebody else, I think that drastically improves the Knicks' chances because it takes Wemby out of just dominating the paint, not just at the rim, but also cutters. And then last but not least, I think Mitchell Robinson has to be healthy. Yeah. He's did a really good job on Victor Wembanyama. You know, we're going to need his offensive rebounding. We're going to need his shot blocking at the rim, his defense. He's comfortable switching on the perimeter. I'm comfortable with him switching on the perimeter, but I genuinely don't know what it looks. I don't know what his injury's like. I don't know if he's going to be able to grab the ball. I don't know if he's going to be an offensive presence. I don't know if there's going to be a hack and Mitch situation every time he's on because he can't grab. I just don't know what that looks like. So I think Mitch has to be healthy as well. That's my long laundry list, Kwab. Is there anything you want to add to my laundry list or anything you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that list. I agree with that list. That's pretty detailed. I made my analysis very short because I knew you would have when it comes to Knicks, you'd have your breakdown. So yeah, I agree with what you were saying.
All right, Spurs win if blank.
Spurs win if again they need to hit perimeter shots, man. I think, and that's gonna factor into who my X factor for this series is for the Spurs, but they need to hit their perimeter shots. Like, they play differently when you have Julian hitting threes, Vassell hitting threes. It just opens up the floor for Fox to attack the rim, Dylan Harper to attack the rim, and even Wemby. Also, Wemby has to be very decisive in what he decides to, like, when he decides to score. Not necessarily holding the ball and navigating. I think he's best when he catches and attacks, because teams are going to have to double him. You're going to try to show two or whatever it is just to kind of crowd him a little bit. And when he's very decisive in his approach in scoring, especially when he starts off games very aggressive, it usually makes a difference. We've seen throughout the playoffs, actually, anytime Wemby starts off kind of aggressive and, you know what I mean, just kind of just focused, it helps the team because everybody kind of follows through. So he's gonna have to tap into that mentality, that hate he had for Chet last series. He's gonna have to bring
he's
that
gotta
out
get for somebody on the Knicks.
Yeah, he has to bring that out for, like, I think that's gonna factor into it. Also, I think the Spurs defensive approach, right? Are they going to be kind of showing two at Jalen Brunson and scrambling off it? That's usually been how they have navigated throughout the playoffs, with how they guarded Ant, how they guarded Shea. It's not necessarily doubling. It's more like, you know what I mean, they show, they stunt, and then they recover with Wemby. So if Wemby is going to be guarding like Hart, like you said, and scrambling off it, that's going to be a factor too. So they have, I think you're going to have like different approaches throughout the course of this playoffs. But to me, it really comes down to how is Wemby going to come out to start each game.
Yeah, I have the Spurs win if they basically force the Knicks back into Brunson ball, in the sense where it's him pounding the rock. You get Stephon Castle up on him, even Dylan Harper. The Spurs have a lot of perimeter defenders who can probably bother Brunson. I'm not saying stop, but kind of bother him and make life a little more difficult for him in the offense. If you can take away somehow, Cat running the offense at the top of the key with Victor Wembanyama because Josh isn't hitting the three and then the Knicks have to resort to Jalen Brunson, then all of a sudden you can load up on Brunson like you did with SGA. Now, I don't think you can do it in the same type of way because the Knicks, to me, have more playmakers than the Thunder did with Jalen Williams out, with AJ Mitchell out, right? Like, you can load up if you want and you can run these stunts about fake helping, but you kind of got to be careful because Bridges can hit the three, Bridges can put the ball on the floor. OG can hit the three, OG can put the ball on the floor. Josh, even if he's not hitting the three, he can also put the ball on the floor and make things happen. So I think it would have to be a little different, but the Knicks look their worst when it's let's get the ball to Jalen Brunson at midcourt with 12 seconds left on the shot clock, and the San Antonio defense is just too good for them to stay stagnant. They have to find a way to make the Knicks basically stagnant, because to me, the Spurs would have the advantage there, right? The defense for the Spurs, it's one of the best in the league. And I think a lot of talk about Wemby, right? Guarding the rim and protecting the rim, but their point of attack defenders are fantastic as well. And I think if the Knicks were to try to slow down the game or try to put the ball in Brunson's hands all the time, I think you're playing right into the Spurs' hands right there, because they can load up. They can guard anybody pretty much if they're stagnant. And I think that's the way they could pretty much stop the Knicks. Also, I think role players have to hit the three, what you just said. I'm going to copy exactly what you just said. But that involves Stephon Castle getting into the paint and beating players like OG and Anunoby off the dribble. That involves Dylan Harper getting past Mikal Bridges and beating him off the dribble, right? You might be able to score these ISOs one-on-one, but if you're not creating for Julian Champagnie or Devin Vassell or Keldon Johnson from three, I don't know how you're going to muster up enough offense to beat the Knicks. Now, can they do it? Absolutely. I mean, I think they did a fantastic job against the Thunder in the games that they won. They're perfectly capable of that. But I do think that the Knicks defenders present a different challenge than the other defenders that they faced throughout the playoffs. OG's 6'8", Mikal 6'7", basically with his wingspan, he's almost 7 freaking feet. It's a different challenge, and I do think you're going to see times where Stephon Castle turns the ball over. You're going to see times where De'Aaron Fox struggles to get a shot off. So it's going to be a fascinating series, but I do think the Spurs guards are talented enough to beat whoever guards them. It just depends if they're going to do it or not. And then Wemby has to be Wemby. He has to be Wemby. You know, they have to. First of all, they have to hold water on the non-Wemby minutes, which I think they can do. But Wemby has to be special. He's going to have to be the best player in this series. I don't think Jalen Brunson can, quote-unquote, outplay him, even though they're not one-on-one with each other. I don't think Jalen Brunson can be the best player in the series, and Wemby kind of nothing. I don't think he played bad at all in the Western Conference Finals, but he's like 22 and 10, 22. Like, no, Wemby needs to average 30. He needs to enforce his will on the game. He needs to make it so that it opens things up for the guards, so that Dylan Harper or Fox or Stephon Castle is open up because the Knicks are paying so much attention to Victor Wembanyama. And he's perfect. He's absolutely capable of doing that. He can get Cat into foul trouble. He can beat a Mitchell Robinson who has a broken hand. He can shoot over an OG Anunoby who has done a great job on him this year. He can shoot over a Mikal Bridges. He just has to do it. So it's going to be fascinating, man. I think these teams are so freaking evenly matched. It just depends on, honestly, who plays better. I think there are people who are picking. I can't believe I'm seeing this on Knicks Twitter, but like there are Knicks fans who are picking like Knicks in 4, Knicks in 5. And I'm like, you guys are fucking insane. Like 4 or 5, like this is, and then conversely, I'll see Spurs fans. We had a lot of Spurs fans in our live chat the other day saying Spurs in 5. I'm like, all right, that's a little disrespectful. I think this goes 6 or 7 either way, based on who wins. All right, before we go any further, Kwab, I put this in the prize picks today.
Okay.
Very proud of it.
All right,
I didn't tell you about it.
Okay.
But we're rocking with it as a team, baby.
Of course.
You ready for this?
No,
LeBron James' next team, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, that's easy pick.
The prodigal son returns home
Yes.
for his last year to retire a Cleveland Cavalier. Listen, if you want to play along with us, if you want to have fun like we have fun with the PrizePicks app, you don't have to put in a lot of money. You don't even have to put in money at all. They have free games. All you have to do is download the PrizePicks app, use code HMA. You play $5, you get $50 in lineups. The link is in the description below. That's code HMA. Play $5, get $50 in lineups. Link is in the description. And you could take the same thing I just took because LeBron James is going back to Cleveland to finish his career, baby.
Cleveland, this is for you.
All right, let's switch to X-Factor. Kwab, who's your Knicks X-Factor?
The obvious would be Mitch Robinson, but with the injury he's dealing with, is he going to be able to play? Finding out that it happened not during basketball, so I think he punched a wall or something. That's the analysis I keep hearing. I wanted to say Mitch, but I think I'm going to go with Mikal. This is the reason why you made the trade.
Yeah.
Sent all those picks, and I've said this in different group chats. I was like, the Knicks making the finals makes it a win in terms of making that trade, sending all those picks. I know there was all those jokes like, oh, is he worth all this thing? And when that trade happened, and me and you had that reaction, I was like, it's a positive trade for the Knicks because you have a championship window. You have to go for it.
Yeah.
You see that, oh, there's a chance we can get out the East in the finals. You have to shore up your squad. And Mikal has been playing fantastic throughout the playoffs. Like in terms of his shooting numbers has been great. Also his defense. After the early on in the Hawks series, he's been playing out of this world. You're going to need him in this series. You're going to need him to play consistent. I think I remember the one game, I think the Christmas game against the Spurs was when he had like what did he have? Like, was it against?
You mean 2 years ago in Spurs?
2 years ago, he had like 60 or something. Like he had an insane amount of score. Like he was aggressive. He was getting to his spots. He was hitting tough shots. You're gonna need that Mikal where he's playing confident because again, it just can't be Jalen Brunson. Like I know when we talk about the Knicks, we know what to expect from Jalen Brunson. We kind of know what to expect with OG because OG's has been to me the second most consistent player on the squad. Now with Josh Hart is give or take if he's going to play confident in terms of taking open shots. You know his brand of basketball. He's always going to hustle. He's going to play hard. But if he's being left open and he shoots confidently, it changes the tone of the game. And sometimes there are games where Mikal feels like he's not even on the floor. But these games where he's been active, he's been a net positive on offense, it changes how the Knicks look on the floor just because of his talent and his ability to guard and be a great two-way player. And he's going to be needed against a team like we've talked about has so much talent when it comes to their perimeter players. So you're gonna need a perimeter stopper, but also somebody who can score on the other end too and challenge them. So I think Mikal's going to be a big factor, if not the biggest factor in this series. What about you? Who's your X factor for the Knicks?
Yeah, I had Mitchell Robinson too at first. I think that's obvious. Obviously, it's not a bad thing for it to be obvious, but his health to me is more the X factor than him himself right now. I don't know what we're getting from him, but I want to go with Josh Hart. I'm surprised you didn't go with Josh because you go with Josh every series.
Yeah.
If Josh Hart is hitting the three, if Josh Hart is being effective in the half court to the point where the Spurs say, okay, we can't play this defense where Wemby's guarding him and sagging off of him, that changes everything in this series. And honestly, I don't even know if the Spurs are going to play that defense, right? That's just something that as a Knicks fan, I've seen teams try to implement against the Knicks to try to shut them down and slow them down. We don't know if they're going to play that defense. But to me, personally, if Josh Hart has it going from three, that changes everything because now you have to guard the Knicks pretty much straight up. And now that opens up the lanes for Karl-Anthony Towns to pass the basketball, split action, cuts to the rim, open things up for Jalen Brunson off the ball. It just opens up so much because now you force Wemby out, whether or not he's guarding Josh. If he's not guarding Josh, he might be guarding Cat, but Cat can bring him out, which means everybody on the court can bring Victor Wembanyama out of the paint, which I think Mike Brown, whenever Victor's in the game, he's going to have a lineup in there that's going to have 5 people who can bring Victor Wembanyama out, right? And if Josh isn't hitting his threes, that's going to be Landry Shamet, right? So like what you saw in game 1, essentially. So to me, Josh is a huge X factor, but also the leash that Mike Brown has on Josh Hart. If he's not hitting his shot, how quick do you go to Landry? How quick do you maybe go to Deuce? You know, it could be Deuce as well. It just depends on matchups and who's playing well that game. But to me, like Josh has always been a barometer of how good this team can be. You know, obviously Jalen's the best player. Obviously you need production from Cat. But when Josh Hart is Josh Hart, this team feels almost unbeatable at times. At times, Spurs fans, at times. And, you know, I'm not saying he's going to be that this series, but he is the first person I'm going to be watching game 1 to see how he performs. All right, Kwab. Spurs X-Factor, who do you have?
Julian. I think Julian's three-point shooting just changes the way the Spurs look on offense when he's hitting, when he's able to get a lot of catch and shoots in your offense. The Spurs always do a good job touching the paint, putting teams in the blender, swing, and swinging to open shooters. But we saw in these past series when Julian's hitting his three, it opens up the floor even more for players to be able to attack the paint. And when you have a perimeter threat out there, you see the defenders kind of hesitate to help, and that can only help Wemby, can only help Dylan Harper, Fox, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
Castle, all the players who do a good job attacking the rim. And I think he's been fantastic. He was fantastic in Game 7. His shot
Yeah.
was a little bit inconsistent throughout the course of that series, but when he's hitting, it looks like a different Spurs team. So that's why before I said that your perimeter shooting is going to be such a big thing when it comes to the Spurs, especially depending on how the Knicks are going to guard your guards and how they employ your defense on Wemby, it's going to be important to be able to space out the floor with your best shooter. Who's your X factor for the Spurs?
There's so many. And to your point, Julian Champagnie, in the one win the Spurs had against the Knicks, he had 11 threes. 11.
Yeah, 11.
So, I mean, that shows how huge he is, especially in this matchup. I go back and forth between Dylan Harper and Keldon Johnson, but to me, I'm just going to make it the Spurs bench. The Knicks bench is a good bench. It is. And I do think that you have to win the non-Victor Wembanyama minutes with Cornette out there, and you're going to have to find a way to keep up or keep pace with whatever the Knicks bench is doing. You know, I think Deuce is going to have a good series. You have Shamet off the bench. Jordan Clarkson has been fantastic. Jose Alvarado has been a nice addition to the Knicks, not scoring, but just keeping the pace up and keeping the energy up as well. And for me, they're going to need to match that physicality and the energy. And I think Keldon Johnson was born to do that. I mean, the Spurs play fantastic with Wembanyama on the floor. Obviously, he's just a bigger dude. And he can't play as often as Mitch and everybody wants him to play. He's, I don't want to say he's fragile, but you got to be very careful with the amount of minutes you give Wemby. It is the NBA Finals, so maybe you stretch him out here in a 7-game series. But I do think there are going to be some significant non-Wemby minutes that includes the bench, which also includes Kelvin Johnson. And I do think, he is a pit bull. He is somebody who will fire this team up. You saw it in Game 7, and you've seen it throughout the regular season. He won Sixth Man of the Year. And I do think it's important that he keeps that energy up. He keeps whatever momentum the Spurs may have when Wemby goes to the bench, and he keeps it going. He shoots well from three, and he remains the heartbeat of the team. I mean, to me, he's so invaluable because much like Josh Hart, his attitude and the way he plays, he doesn't have to score the ball. There's just so many things he does that is so valuable for the team that I think if he's having a good series, if he's barking at people, if he's hitting the three, if he's making game-changing plays, I think that can tilt the series in the Spurs' direction. All right, Kwab, it's time. Who will be the NBA champions, and in how many games will it happen?
I want you to go first, obviously, because you being a Knicks fan, just being you're so excited about your team in the finals, all that. I want you to go ahead and tell me why, and tell me why the Knicks are going to win in 6 or 7 or whatever you pick. Go ahead, buddy.
So this decision was difficult for me because let's just face it. If I were to talking about the Knicks Spurs hypothetical NBA finals at the start of the playoffs, it would have been a different conversation. The way the Knicks have been playing in their last 11 games, you can say whatever about the competition, Cleveland Cavaliers, Philadelphia 76ers, Atlanta. You could say whatever you want to say. The fact of the matter is the Knicks have been absolutely taking teams to the woodshed and beating the crap out of them. They look like they've peaked. They look like the continuity is there. They look like the chemistry is 100%. They are peaking at the right time. It's very hard for me to look at what they've been doing and then cross-matching it with how is this going to look against the Spurs? Because the Spurs are better than the Cavs, obviously, and against any other team that they played. Thunder are better than the teams, right? So you're watching Spurs Thunder, and you know for a fact that, okay, the Spurs go 7, but they're doing it against a better opponent. There's just things in your head that are I don't know how to cross-reference this to know the Knicks are playing this good, but how good is this good compared? You know what I'm saying? It's
yeah.
So I've been playing that game in my head, honestly, since the start of the Cavs series after Game 2, when it was kind of obvious the Knicks were going to go to the finals. I'm going Knicks in 6, baby. Let's go. Knicks in 6. I believe this is the only chance my team probably has in my lifetime to win an NBA championship. Mm-hmm. I'm riding with them. I am bought in. I don't think you beat a team by 60 points by accident. I don't think you beat a team in a Game 4 closeout by 40 teams on the road by accident. I don't think you close out a team on the road by 30 by accident. You could say whatever you want to say about the competition. What the Knicks are doing right now is not normal. It's not normal. And I do think if you're talking from an objective basketball standpoint, I do think the Knicks match up well with the San Antonio Spurs. I do think OG Anunoby can give Stephon Castle some problems. I do think Mikal Bridges can bother De'Aaron Fox, can bother Dylan Harper, can bother Stephon Castle if he has to. I do think OG Anunoby can bother Victor Wembanyama if he has to. I think Cat, if he plays smart, can bother Victor Wembanyama. The Knicks can live in that mid-range. The Knicks can hit the three, and those are the type of offenses that the Spurs have pretty much struggled against all season, right? So I do think the Knicks match up well with Spurs. Me watching them pretty much whip everybody's ass going into the finals, on top of the fact that they're relatively healthy, I am comfortable. I am confident. I think it's going to be a fantastic series. The reason why I don't say 7, because a Game 7 in San Antonio scares the crap out of me. So I'm going to say 6. I think anybody who thinks this is going 4 or 5 on either side is absolutely insane, because I do think both of these teams are fantastic teams. I think it's going to be a close series that's going to come down to, a couple shots in either game that's going to turn the tide. But I liked it. I love the way the Knicks are playing, man. I as someone who's watched this team my whole life, I've never seen a New York Knicks team play better basketball than they're playing right now. It is absolutely insane. And I think I would be, a traitor and be a fool to bet against that. So Knicks in 6. Kwab, what do you got?
I had to put on my glasses so I could see. I could really see what you're saying. Surprise, he picked the Knicks. Oh, man. I think there's going to be a great finals. It's a great matchup. Knicks have played fantastic in terms of beating the teams they were supposed to beat. I think some people have had the analysis that they really didn't get tested during your finals run, and it's a lot of people picked the teams they faced to beat them, and they wiped the floor with them easily. When the Knicks are playing their brand of basketball, they look fantastic. They're moving the ball, they're shooting it defensively. They've looked great. So it's not going to be an easy matchup for a team like the Spurs, who again people are going to push back on them being young, their first time in the playoffs, and they've played fantastic. It's great to see them, like it was great to see Wemby showing emotion after making
Love
the
it.
finals. I think
Freaking love Wemby, man.
it's
I love
man,
Wemby, bro.
it's so like
I
I
also
love
like the
that.
fact that the Knicks are going against a team that if they lost to them, it wouldn't bother me. Like I wouldn't be
Yeah.
like, why? Like, all right,
Yeah,
cool, I'm happy for
exactly.
this
Because
one.
like it's a great young team that's
Yeah.
gonna be around for a while. Um, I mean, I just again it feels like it's kind of destined for the Spurs to make it, because how Wemby's has been touted as just the next great player, and
Yeah.
he's been showing it throughout the course of the season, being one of the youngest to do so many things. Um, in my opinion, I think the Spurs will win the series.
Okay.
I think Josh already knew I wasn't gonna pick the Knicks, but I think the Spurs are gonna win the series. But the funny thing is that every time I've picked against the Knicks throughout the course of this playoffs, they have won.
You picked against them in every freaking round.
Every round I picked the Knicks. So it's
No,
like,
wait, did you have the Cavs?
yes, I did. I picked again, even though I knew they weren't gonna win. I told you, like I told you.
But I honestly believe that you do think the Spurs are going to win.
Yeah. So like I mean, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, or fool me three times, shame on the other guy, or whatever that guy said.
Fool me 4 times. We got to take a step back. And
We got to take a step back.
Yeah.
And
What is going on here, dude?
So, so
How many games?
I believe the Spurs are gonna win. So I'm gonna say Knicks in 4. And I have this typed out in my text messages that I'm gonna say this, and Josh is gonna freak out because he knows exactly what I'm doing, because it's a win-win for me. If the Knicks win the series, I was right. The Knicks lose, the curse keeps on going, and the Spurs win. So Spurs fans, this is for you. I'm saying Knicks in 4,
So that the
because
Spurs
I've been wrong. throughout the So it's Knicks in 4. Anytime the Spurs win, I'm gonna be like, oh, Knicks are gonna win 4 straight. Of course it is. So please, I mean, join us or recaps. Join us on our lives. It's gonna be a fun time. Knicks in 4. If you that's
Can I get a serious prediction out of you?
it's you got it. Last series against the Spurs and Thunder, I didn't pick. You're gonna have to pick one now.
Can I get a serious prediction out of you?
I just picked Knicks in 4. It's Knicks in 4.
Right.
Orange and blue skies. Blah blah blah.
Translation: Spurs in 6.
They're gonna tear down the city. I got Knicks fans running around New York, rapping Chief Keef Finito, talking about they're gonna burn down Jersey. I am very scared. San Antonio, I need you to come through.
You're not to dox you, but you're deep into Jersey. Not deep, but you're.
I'm deeper. I'm deeper than the. Yeah, I'm not on the line. I'm not on the line. So I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. But no, I'll be fine. But at the same time, I won't. I've seen so many Knicks fans this past week than I've ever seen. I'm like, you guys wearing this gear outside before. I know you. I know you, Brad. Like, Brad, you weren't out here. You weren't out here in full full Knicks jersey. Where were you all season? But it's cool. It's cool. You know what I mean? I believe San Antonio's going to win. So Knicks in 4. Let's go. It's going to be a great finals, baby.
All right, listen, you can follow us over at the Diamond NBA. I'm Josh. He's Kwab. Thank you if you've been around all year. Thank you so much. If you just followed us, thank you so much. I mean, I don't know if you could tell by now. Kwab and I, we love the game. We're objective about the game. We like talking the game.
And we're serious, but we're not serious at the same time.
We like to have fun. So whenever we do lives, again, I don't know what that schedule looks like because I plan on being in New York City watching these games. So we'll figure it out. I do have access to the studio that I work at from my job, so I could rush to the studio depending on if it's open or not. We'll see. Look out for an announcement on our YouTube, on the YouTube feed. I'll probably post something, let you know, and we'll go from there. Enjoy the NBA Finals. I hope it's a classic, and I hope the Knicks win. And for the Spurs fans following us, appreciate you. And you can make fun of me if we lose. It's okay.
Go Spurs. Go Spurs, go.
All right, everybody. Take care. Peace.